India and Canada have agreed to restore high commissioners in both countries, marking a key step toward diplomatic ties. The announcement came after the two leaders met on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that these steps will boost India and Canada ties. He added that other areas of discussion between two leaders included AI, critical minerals, and trade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met French President Emmanuel Macron on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada. The two leaders discussed ways to strengthen India-France bilateral relations. PM Modi is representing India at the G7 for the sixth time. India is among key outreach partners at this year's summit, along with Australia, South Africa, South Korea, Mexico, and Ukraine. Heads of international bodies including the United Nations and the World Bank are also attending. The 2025 G7 summit, hosted by Canada, is focused on pressing global issues such as economic stability, climate change, artificial intelligence, and rising geopolitical tensions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada. PM Modi is representing India at the G7 for the sixth time. India is among key outreach partners at this year's summit, along with Australia, South Africa, South Korea, Mexico, and Ukraine. Heads of international bodies including the United Nations and the World Bank are also attending. The 2025 G7 summit, hosted by Canada, is focused on pressing global issues such as economic stability, climate change, artificial intelligence, and rising geopolitical tensions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral meetings with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada. In his meeting with PM Albanese, the two leaders discussed strengthening India-Australia ties across trade, investment, education, and regional security. PM Modi also met South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa at the summit. During talks with President Ramaphosa, PM Modi explored avenues to deepen the India-South Africa partnership and exchanged views on issues of mutual global concern.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada have just a short while ago concluded a very positive and constructive meeting on the sidelines of the G7 summit here in Kananaskis in Canada. The meeting discussed the importance of the India-Canada relationship, which is based on shared values, democracy and the rule of law, people-to-people contact, and many other commonalities. The Prime Ministers agreed to take calibrated steps to restore stability to this very important relationship. And the first of these steps that was agreed on was to restore High Commissioners to each other's capitals at an early date. Other diplomatic steps will follow in due course. The two Prime Ministers also agreed to resume senior and working level mechanisms and discussions in a host of areas related to trade, to people-to-people contact and connectivity, all of them intended to bring greater momentum to the relationship. The two leaders also discussed potential collaboration in a host of issues related to clean energy, clean technology, digital infrastructure, artificial intelligence, food security, critical minerals and supply chains. In view of the trade negotiations between the two countries that are currently paused, the two leaders also decided to instruct their officials to take it up at an early date. The two leaders agreed to stay in touch and meet once again at the earliest possible opportunity.